We are recording, but please rest assured that in the follow-up and the recording, the focus will be on the speaker. There'll be the speaker on that and not the audience. And yeah, if you do have any questions, this webinar is scheduled to finish in about half an hour. But what James and I are going to do is we're going to stay on afterwards. And if you have any questions that you'd like to go through, we are more than happy to field those questions at the end of the session. Yeah, don't hesitate to drop them in the chat throughout. Don't hesitate to send them to me privately in a message, because if there's anything that you want to ask, but you'd rather not do it publicly, or you don't want your brand name in that question, you want to ask it anonymously, drop me that question and I will make sure that we go through it in the end. Finally, for those who've just joined, just to reiterate, you'll get a full copy of this recording and a copy of the deck afterwards as well. So I'll continue letting people in, but in the meantime, let's get underway. Let's look at how we can make HubSpot your all-in-one marketing solution in 2025 and beyond. My name's Dan Jenkins. For those of you who haven't met me, I'm commercial director here at Wagada Digital. Been part of the agency now for a number of years, and I work with brands across the UK and internationally, ultimately ensuring that we are doing the best tactics in order to support you in achieving your goals. It's not all about me, though. I am part of a growing team of around 26 experts across 3 locations. This is us at our Cheltenham, in Cheltenham, with the Cheltenham team and the wider digital marketing team here at Wagada. But we do have 3 locations across London, St Albans and Cheltenham. James, we just move on to the next slide. We offer 4 core services. So HubSpot solutions, as I'm sure you're aware, everything from onboarding through to email marketing and workflows, user adoption, integration, you name it, we can help you with it. Digital marketing services, website design, website development, and employer branding as well. But ultimately, we've amassed a wealth of knowledge and expertise across a wide range of industries. And just finally, before I hand you over to our speaker this morning, this has been really popular and really beneficial for a lot of brands. So we've continued it through. This is Spot Check. Basically, we will have a review of your HubSpot account. One of our experts, James and the team, will get in there, have a little look at what you're currently doing, look at what you could be doing, look at any of that missed opportunity, and really give you that kind of tick list and checklist as to how you can take your HubSpot usage forward. No cost associated, and it's a no pressure offer. It's something that we do as part of our platinum partner status, and something that we like to do in order to really kind of share our knowledge and expertise with the wider HubSpot ecosystem. So yeah, do check that out. The QR code's there. We'll also send some details in the email follow-up if you want to take advantage of Spot Check. Fab. So that's enough from me. I'm going to hand over to James, and you'll hear from me later on when we open up for questions at the end. Over to you, James.
Yeah, cheers, Dan, and morning, everyone. Thank you for joining. For those who don't know me, I'm James, and I'm a digital transformation specialist here at Wagada. I've been at the company for nearly 4 years now. I'm part of the transformation team where we support our clients with their HubSpot needs, as well as the general maintenance of their HubSpot accounts. And a couple of months ago, Dan and I attended the HubSpot Inbound conference in Boston, which you can probably tell from the picture on the screen. And this was an amazing event. I'll be sharing some takeaways from Inbound, as well as some of the main features, marketing features HubSpot has to offer. Now, there's a lot to cover this morning, but I'll get through as much as I can in the next half an hour or so on how you can make HubSpot your all-in-one marketing solution. And we'll start with a bit of an intro to HubSpot's marketing tools and give you a brief insight into some of these tools. We'll be covering how you can get the most out of HubSpot's automation features, especially through the likes of workflows, and how you can make your processes more efficient. We're also going to take a look at how you can integrate your favorite platforms with HubSpot, bringing all your favorite platforms together. And now, I mentioned just then that Dan and I were at this year's Inbound conference, and I'll be covering some of the latest AI tools from the conference and how you can use AI to maximize efficiency within your marketing team. And lastly, we'll take a look at how you can measure your marketing success with HubSpot's reporting features. Now, the extent of the tools available to you is dependent on your subscription, but I'm just going to run through some of the key things available with HubSpot. Now, many people have Marketing Hub, but don't actually realize the extent of what's available, and also that these tools are constantly evolving all the time. Now, the majority of the marketing tools available with HubSpot are under the marketing widget, unsurprisingly. But I'm conscious of time, so I'm not going to run through all of these tools this morning, but please do go into your accounts and give these a try. And just a note to say that some of these tools may not be available on all subscription types, but hopefully you'll come away from this session with more of an idea of what else you could be doing with your subscription and if you might want to actually consider upgrading. But first up, we've got emails, which I know is what most people know and love HubSpot for. And that's because there are so many features it just simply does better than other marketing email tools. They're really easy to create with HubSpot's pre-built templates, or you can design your own custom emails with the drag and drop module feature, as you can see in the left image there. HubSpot also gives you the ability to use really specific personalization in your emails by using any of the data stored in your CRM. So first name tokens and even associated company name tokens come to mind there. And in addition to this, HubSpot Smart Content feature allows you to create separate emails with different content in for different audiences. So yeah, which is that's really, really powerful. And of course, you can automate your email process. Of course, individual emails can be scheduled and sent manually through this tool if you wish, but by using the likes of workflows, you can create full email campaigns seamlessly. And we'll come on to workflows a little bit shortly. And if you have a look at the right image on the screen, the tool also lets you track how well your emails are performing. So you can see the likes of your open rate, your clicks. So yeah, that all helping you improve your future messaging. And another thing to add is that the emails feature also integrates with the other HubSpot tools. So that helps just to make your email marketing even more effective. Just below emails in the marketing menu nav, we've got the social media area. So first of all, HubSpot connects with all your favorite social platforms, your LinkedIn's, Instagrams, Facebook. But the key thing here is that this feature helps you manage, monitor, and analyze your socials across multiple platforms from one central hub, rather than having to go into those separate individual schedulers. You can schedule and publish posts, track engagement, and monitor your brand mentions, just like you would in your typical social scheduler, but also whilst keeping track of your performance metrics like your clicks, your shares, and likes. This tool also offers social media reporting, allowing your social teams to assess the effectiveness of their campaigns and adjust strategies to improve the reach and engagement. Now, it might be that actually you prefer and quite like using your current social scheduler platforms, such as, let's say, your Hey Orcas. And by all means, continue to do that, but it's definitely worth considering connecting your social channels with HubSpot if you haven't already, because one, well, you can get the most out of your HubSpot subscription and get some really insightful reports that you might not be getting currently. And two, it also gives you that flexibility and peace of mind in case your scheduler platform is unavailable for whatever reason, so that you can come into HubSpot and schedule and create posts if need be. So yeah, the social tool is a great way to streamline your social efforts. So make sure to check that out. And just below social in the marketing menu nav, we've got forms. So HubSpot forms allow you to easily create customizable forms to capture information from website visitors, such as contact details, survey responses, or event signups. And the great thing about HubSpot forms is that they can be easily embedded directly onto your website, allowing you to seamlessly collect data from visitors whilst unifying your marketing and CRM platforms. So by placing forms on your landing pages, blog posts, or pop-ups, all form submissions are automatically captured in HubSpot CRM, enabling that smooth data management and lead tracking. And you can see from the demo on the right there that you don't just get this performance from this form performance breakdown in other CRMs, such as the likes of WordPress. And that doesn't mean to say that you should stop using the likes of WordPress, but consider combining these platforms together to get the best of both worlds. And right at the bottom of the menu nav, we have HubSpot's lead scoring tool, which helps businesses prioritize leads based on their level of engagement and fit within the company's ideal customer profile. So lead scoring allows your marketing and sales teams to focus on the most promising prospects by assigning positive and negative numerical values to various actions, such as email opens, website visits, form submissions, as well as demographic factors like company size or job title, as you can see in the demo on the right there. So again, another tool to help improve team efficiency, but also increase the likelihood of those conversions. And the great thing is that you can regularly review these metrics depending on the quality of leads that are coming in. So if one criteria isn't quite working as you expected, you can adjust this score if you need to, or you can even remove the criteria if need be. So yeah, really, really useful tool, and you can tie this in with HubSpot's automation features, but more on that in a little bit. But it's not just the marketing area where you can find HubSpot's marketing tools. And I wanted to give a mention to lists. And these actually live under the CRM widget in your HubSpot menu nav. Along with emails, lists are a big part of every marketer's toolbox to enable the segmentation of your contacts. And most people will already be segmenting in some way. But HubSpot lists allow you to segment your contacts based on specific criteria. So that could be industry types, behaviors, or engagement history, let's say. And the benefit with HubSpot lists are that there are actually two types that you can create. So you've got your active lists, which automatically update as contacts meet or no longer meet the set conditions. Or you can create static lists, which will remain unchanged once created in that particular moment. But whichever list you decide to use, you can target specific groups for personalized marketing campaigns, your follow-up emails, or even sales outreach. So all of this is helping you improve your segmentation, ensuring that there's more relevant communication with your leads and customers. And again, the great thing about lists are that these work seamlessly with those other marketing tools that I just mentioned. You can send out your marketing emails to a specific list that you create. So yeah, lists are great for enhancing your lead nurturing and making your campaigns more effective. And there's also a host of marketing features that also fall under the content widget in HubSpot. And again, I could go through these all day, but there's loads of marketing tools in here to aid your content creation across multiple channels, such as blogs, landing pages, or even social posts. So again, HubSpot provides you with the ability to create all of these content types in just one place, saving you from hopping from one platform to another. And I just wanted to focus a little bit on HubSpot's content remix feature, which allows you to easily repurpose and customize existing content into new formats for different marketing channels. If you have a look at the image on the bottom right there, it can actually take an existing piece of content. So you have like a blog, and then this creates and repurposes this content to be used in your other content channels, such as emails or social media posts, landing pages, email campaigns, ensuring your message reaches a wider audience in various ways. How cool is that? This tool really does simplify content creation, saves you so much time while maintaining that consistency across your marketing materials, and helps you engage different segments of your audience with really tailored content. Now, just a note to say that some of the features in the content area are only available with Marketing Hub subscriptions and higher. And so some will require also a Content Hub subscription as well. So you might want to explore what would be useful for your marketing team and have a think about certain things.
Yeah, just quickly on that, James. I don't know if you've noticed or if it's coincidence that you just referenced that, because we've had a couple of questions come through in the chat just about subscription levels. So what I thought would be quite good is that at the end, we will go through the different you could chat through the different subscriptions and difference in Content Hub, Marketing Hub, that sort of thing. But in terms of what you're showing so far, it's predominantly Marketing Hub. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's totally right. Yeah.
But then we can talk through the paid and free differentiation and we can go through all of that.
Yeah, definitely. And just to finish the overview of the marketing tools, I'm actually going to go back to the marketing widget in the menu nav, where we've got this thing called campaigns. Now, this is a tool that really brings everything together, as you can add so many marketing elements to these. As you can see from the demo on the screen, they're perfect for planning, running, and tracking your marketing activities. So like your emails, your social media posts, and you can see your ads all in one place. It offers tools to organize everything and see how well these are performing with the likes of reporting. With easy to read reports and automation, you can save so much time and improve how you're connecting with your customers. And I love how campaigns work so well with other HubSpot tools for a really smooth marketing experience. So yeah, that was a really, really quick run through of some of the marketing tools you've got available. And now we're going to have a look at HubSpot's automations and how you can become more efficient in your marketing efforts. Ultimately, HubSpot automation allows you to streamline and optimize your marketing processes by automating those repetitive tasks. I'm sure some of you watched the latest Wallace and Gromit film at Christmas, and I like to think of HubSpot as your Norbot. So it's your tech friend that will help you automate those repetitive tasks. But you still need to add that human touch to your marketing processes and campaigns. And you certainly don't want HubSpot turning against you with an evil penguin or a chicken as well as things. But to give you an idea of some of the automations you have available to you, I like to think of looking at these in three main areas. And these are your standard automations, your segmentation, and workflows. And all of these work together in tandem. So if we start with standard automations, what I mean by that is HubSpot provides several standard automations by default to help manage customer relationships efficiently. So let's take lifecycle stage as an example. So lifecycle stage automations automatically update a contact stage. So let's say from a lead to an MQL, for instance, based on engagement triggers like form submissions or email interactions. Or as you can see in the left image, records will be set to a certain stage as they're created. Can you imagine having to manually update every record stage as they come into your system? It doesn't sound like fun to me. And ultimately, lifecycle stages are really important as you want to send out the right message to the right people at the right time. And so the automation of this is a massive help. And another standard automation is something that I mentioned earlier, which is lead scoring. Now, if we go back to my Norbot and HubSpot theory, if you like, HubSpot will update those scores of on the records, but you'll need to do the manual setting up of the criteria in the first instance. And also just a note to say that you can test these criteria as you go and update these as you need to. Then we have the segmentation of data and records. And HubSpot uses something called associations. So whenever new records come into HubSpot, it's smart enough to associate contacts with companies and deals, and also vice versa. And this is great as it links everything together for you. And you can see that in the bottom left image. So it's perfect for your marketing teams looking to reach out to contacts as you have all the relevant info you need all in one place. And also when I talk about segmentation, and I just covered this, but you can group records into lists based on certain attributes or actions, and shout out to the creepy Norbot picture there. And that helps you to target the right people. And if you look on the image on the right there, just to give you an idea of what lists actually look like once you've created them. So, you could create a list of contacts associated to companies who have a revenue of, let's say, £1 million for a targeted campaign. And that list can ensure your marketing comms only go out to these particular contacts in that list. But not only that, you can also segment through the likes of workflows. Now, I'm sure some of you will be aware of workflows already, but they're a really, really powerful automation tool. For those who don't know, workflows are set up to trigger specific actions based on a record's behavior, their properties or lifecycle stage, such as sending personalized emails, assigning tasks, updating contact information, or nurturing leads. And there are a whole host of different workflow types available, as you can see on the left there. But you've also got some default templates ready to go, or if you prefer, or if you're feeling brave, you can actually create these workflows from scratch if you like. You can even map these out to set properties to certain values. And I'm going to go back to that all-in-one marketing mantra as it can aid segmentation itself. You can see in the image on the right an example of how when someone chooses a particular country in a form that they submit, that contact is then assigned to a particular team member. And then that saves you having to manually do that yourself as the workflow does that for you. Now, I've hardly scratched the service there, but these are perfect to run campaigns. So you could build out a workflow that feeds into a multi-touch campaign. So let's say that someone clicks on a LinkedIn ad of yours, and then they're then directed to a landing page, which then results in them being sent a piece of content. And then after that, you could set a delay in place where after a few days, they're then sent an email with another piece of content in. And if they were to engage with this, you could then set an action for this contact to join a list that could be called, let's say, interested in a particular service, let's say. And then you could keep going on and on with this workflow and keep evolving and growing with it, but you kind of get the picture. But the point is, all of those elements that I just mentioned have been created and managed through HubSpot with workflows, bringing these all together in one place. Well, and I'm going to mention it again, the entire process is unified through the campaign setup tool. But yeah, so that's automations. Now, in the example where I just talked through when covering workflows, I mentioned that you could use LinkedIn ads interactions as a workflow trigger. And that leads me nicely into the kind of integrations that are available in HubSpot. So I'm just going to chat a bit about integrations and how you can join your data and platforms together. Now, when we talk about integrations, we mean the relationship between HubSpot and your other platforms. So HubSpot integrations allows you to connect HubSpot with a wide range of third-party tools and platforms such as CRM systems, social media channels, email platforms, MailChimp comes to mind there, and even e-commerce solutions, and Shopify comes to mind there. These integrations streamline data flow across multiple systems, ensuring a real unified view of your marketing efforts. So by integrating HubSpot with other tools, you can automate processes, you can improve collaboration, and also enhance that customer experience, all while reducing that manual work in your team, crucially. Now, of course, there are some platforms that you're never going to get rid of, such as your socials, but there are platforms that you might want to integrate to help with transparency and efficiency across your platforms. But you could even consider replacing some of these with HubSpot features. So, for instance, you could integrate Gravity Forms, let's say, but it might be that actually you replace these with HubSpot Forms and just embed these onto your website instead. As you can tell from the demo on the screen, there are so many apps available in the marketplace. And you can see in the demo, that's only page one. And just to give you an idea of how many apps there are, have a look at this. Now, this is as of August 2024. And so I would suspect that there have been more additions since then, and there will definitely be more to come for sure. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out for those.
Do you know what amazes me, James, just as you share that, is how many brands are still using like a whole section of those as like their entire tech stack, and they're using all of these different tools and might also actually be using HubSpot. But it's the fact that like you can basically consolidate that effort into a completely different streamlined process. And I think that's the way we've got to go, right? Because there's so much choice, there's so many tools, there's so many operational and business needs that we can just get lost in this how it kind of consolidates.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, yeah, there's, as you can see, there's so many available, and there's a really good chance that some of the platforms that you're using already, it's going to be in there. So make sure to integrate those where you can, and definitely have a look and explore the app marketplace. So now I'm just going to go on to AI now. So AI has been built into all aspects of HubSpot now, and I touched on at the start how Dan and I we attended this year's Inbound a few months ago, and the hot topic there was Breeze, which is the latest AI tool in HubSpot. Now, before I talk a bit more about this, I just wanted to plug our previous webinar in November where I covered all things Breeze and show some demos of the new features available. So make sure to check that out by scanning the QR code on the screen. But just to give you an overview of what Breeze actually is, well, it's an AI tool designed to help users with tasks related to content creation, customer service, and business ops. And it integrates with HubSpot's platform to make managing tasks and optimizing operations more efficient. Now, obviously, this session is all about marketing, so I'm just going to touch on two of the new features of Breeze today that are more relevant to marketers. So we've got Copilot, which is a virtual assistant chatbot that works with you everywhere you go in HubSpot. And I'm also going to cover some of the new agents that are part of the marketing tools. But just to say that there are a couple of agents that are more for your sales and services teams that I do cover in the previous webinar. So if you do want to learn more about those, make sure to check those out. But let's start with Copilot. And it's really, really good for content creation while allowing you to write, optimize, and revise content for your emails, those landing pages, blogs again. And you can also create images with these as well. It supports with the management of your CRM records, helping you to summarize these records, as well as automatically creating and updating notes and tasks. Now, from a sales point of view, it's great for drafting follow-up emails, researching your competitors, and it can even summarize your deal pipelines. From a marketing perspective, which is what we're focusing on today, it can actually help you with generating the likes of blogs, those social posts, some emails as well. Or if your focus was more to do with services, let's say, Copilot can even recommend customer support ticket responses and summarize those complex interactions that you might be having. So yeah, there's really so much that Copilot can do, and I've been using it loads and a lot personally since HubSpot introduced it. And again, just to say that I do cover a couple of demos of Copilot in action in my previous webinar, so make sure to scan the QR code on the screen there. Moving on to the Breeze agents now, and these are designed to automate manual tasks and work for you, crucially, so that you can focus on more strategic work. There are 4 new agents available, and again, I covered all of these in our previous webinar. I'm only going to focus on 2 agents that are part of HubSpot's marketing tools today. So up first, we have the social agent, which is centered around supporting your social media strategy, using data-driven insights to create engaging multi-channel social content, which is really, really cool. And in turn, this can save your social team so much time and resources, all whilst maintaining that quality and consistency in your audience engagement. Then we've got a content agent, which produces a whole range of content elements, such as landing pages or blogs. And I think this tool is particularly brilliant because it actually uses your CRM data to ensure that the content that gets generated actually aligns with your brand's voice. And that means it's ultimately effective in engaging with your target audience. You know, you just don't get that with other content generators like your ChatGPT, where you have to add in extra context to your prompt every time, such as, let's say, your brand voice. You know, Content Agent does that all for you based on the setups that you have in place. So yeah, the agents are a great way to create and centralize your marketing campaigns all in one place. So make sure to give them a try. And the last plug for the webinar I did, but make sure to check that out if you want to see some more demos in there. And just to finish up, HubSpot wouldn't be your all-in-one marketing tool without being able to see how your marketing tactics are performing and report on your successes. And you can do that with dashboards and reports in HubSpot. And again, I'm going to do another plug, but not for me this time. It's for my colleague Bex, who ran a webinar last month where she covered everything on how to leverage reports. And there are loads of great demos in there, so make sure to check that out as well. So up first, we've got HubSpot's Marketing Analytics Suite, which is a fairly new feature and is in beta, so you'll need to opt into this. Now, I love this as it has a load of ready-made reports to track, measure, and optimize the performance of your marketing efforts. And you can see in a demo that it provides detailed insights into some key metrics such as traffic, lead generation, email campaigns, social media engagement, giving you a real understanding of what's working and what needs improvement. So with customizable reports, real-time data, and integrated analytics across all marketing channels, the suite really helps you make those data-driven decisions to align your marketing strategies. Moving on to HubSpot Reports, which provide you, again, in-depth insights into your marketing, your sales, your customer service performances. And just like in the marketing analytics suite, you have these pre-built reports in there that allow you to track those key metrics again. With customizable templates and filters, you can also create tailored reports to monitor specific goals and analyze data across various time periods or segments if you like as well. Some of these reports are also exportable, allowing you to manipulate the data in these a bit more easily if you prefer looking at data in Excel. But yeah, HubSpot's reporting tools can help your marketing teams measure success, identify those trends, and ultimately make those data-driven decisions, easy for me to say, to improve overall strategies and outcomes. And you could add all these reports to individual dashboards. And HubSpot dashboards provide you with a real centralized view of your key marketing channel metrics, bringing all that data together and grouping all your reports in one place. But you don't just have the option to add reports to dashboards. You can see on the image on the right there that you can actually embed content from other sources. So other reporting platforms such as Looker Studio or YouTube, etc. And you can also annotate and add descriptions to these so that people can actually interpret the data and understand what they're seeing when they come in. Oh, and by the way, you can add images and videos if you want to make your dashboard look a little bit easier in the eye, and it's not just full of reports, so you can make it a little bit prettier if you like. So yeah, definitely have a think about some of your go-to reports that you look at and how you can pull these into HubSpot. And I'm also going to mention my friend Breeze again, and there are 2 ways that Breeze AI has been integrated into reporting. So you've got the report builder, which has been in beta for a little while now, and this can really help to generate some custom reports for you really quickly. And then we have Copilot again, which I love for getting really quick answers that maybe your boss is asking you for, and it saves you having to search through all that data or having to create a brand new report that you might not use again. Copilot gives you that straight away. Now, just a note to say that all of these AI features are great, but just remember that AI isn't a replacement for humans, going back to my Norbot analogy, but it certainly helps you make a great start. So takeaways from today on how to make HubSpot your all-in-one marketing solution. So start by also auditing your current platforms and consider integrating these into HubSpot to save you having to hop from one platform to another. Have a think about automating your processes to reduce manual work, streamline segmentation, and help you build detailed user profiles and effective campaigns. Definitely make sure to check out the app marketplace and connect any platforms you're using with HubSpot to centralize those marketing efforts. Have a think about leveraging AI as a starting point for efficiency, but use it cautiously. So, i.e., don't go full Norbot and keep that human touch in your marketing processes. And finally, have a think about some reports that will provide you with the most insight and engage with them regularly on your dedicated dashboards. And one sort of key thought from today is to treat HubSpot as a one software investment, if you like. It could be more cost effective if you're paying for various systems, but even if you're not, the amount of features you have available will be greater than any of those platforms individually. But that's all from me today. Really appreciate your time and joining this morning. And just to give you a heads up, our digital transformation manager, Bex, she'll be hosting our next webinar on the 18th February. And in this session, she'll be covering how you can get more buy-in from your teams to use HubSpot. So not only benefit with team efficiency, but also get return on investment from your subscription. So make sure to keep an eye out for those emails coming out soon, and also our socials to get yourself registered for this webinar. Yeah, that's me, and I'm just going to head back to Dan for any questions.
James, brilliant, fantastic. I think it's really tough to get so much into 30 minutes. So to give that kind of that deep dive at that level is superb. And I think there's a lot there that, as I say, if you're not using HubSpot, then it gives you that kind of idea of what can be achieved. But also if you are using HubSpot, but not using it to its full potential, you can start to piece together the areas that you might need to focus on. So yeah, seriously, mate, thank you very, very much for that. What we're going to do now, we're going to move through with some questions. So I've had a few in the chat. If any more come to mind, we'll open up at the very end as well. But we are going to stay on and we're going to go through some of these questions. So James, can you chat a little bit just to get us kicked off through the different hubs and the different subscriptions? There were a couple of questions earlier on about kind of content versus marketing, pro versus free seats. There was also a question on if one person, we have the very basic version of HubSpot that doesn't include the marketing features. Could just one member of our team sign up to the more advanced level to access these features? Is it worth you just giving a bit of a top level overview of the different package types and how businesses can go about accessing them?
Yeah, so yeah, there's a few different levels, and I would suspect most people are probably using starter subscriptions, so you are a little bit more limited as to what you can do. But you still have, there's some of the tools I've covered at the start, the majority of those are available with that subscription. But there's some features where when I focus, they're a little bit more technical. So the automations with those workflows, for that case, you will need a Marketing Hub subscription as a minimum to get access to that. And of course, just one thing to say that with all of the features, when you're prompted and you go into the menu nav in your account, you'll probably see, you might have seen on the slides that there was little orange sort of circles there, and that basically means if it's got that, it's unavailable on your subscription. But if you were to click on that widget in the menu nav, it will take you to a page where it talks you through what that feature is, and it should give you an option to sign up for a free trial. So you can, if you wanted to, you can try it out for, I think it's 7 days. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dan. That might be.
I think so, yeah.
But, 7 days, give it a try. And if it's something that you're using a lot and you quite enjoy it, and by all means, I think it's probably worthwhile to consider that upgrade. But it might be a case that it's not for you. You don't actually feel like it would be beneficial to you, and you can just stay on your current subscription. But yeah, I would say to that question, make sure to go into your account, see what's already available to you, and go from there.
What I would say as well, when you go back through this webinar, if there's any sections that you want a bit more clarity in and say, can I do this? Can I achieve that? Seriously, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Drop us, either of us, a note on LinkedIn, drop us an email. All the details will be in the follow-up, or even just reply to your follow-up, and we can guide you and let you know if it's something that you're able to do or not. And that's absolutely fine. We've got quite a few questions, so I'm just going to run through some. So Breeze, Svetlana's asking, how can I try Breeze, James?
So Breeze itself, it's already integrated into HubSpot into your account already. So you might not be aware when you've been working in the account recently, that you might not be aware that the AI is actually helping you along anyway. But to actually see some of the key features, again, in the menu nav on the bottom left-hand side, there is a dedicated area for Breeze. So you can have a look in there. Just to note to say that Copilot, which I touched on, that is available to all subscription types. So
Yeah.
and that is available in when you log into HubSpot, it'll be in the top right-hand corner, and there's like a little diamond icon, and you just click that, and the chatbot will pop up for you. But I'm gonna big myself up again in terms of plugging that webinar I covered back in November for Breeze. So we cover a load of demos in there, and it talks you where to find certain things, the prompts that you can use.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say genuinely check that out. And to answer your question, there's a good chance you're probably already using AI without realizing.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing, right? It's baked
Yeah,
into so much now that it's
yeah.
just about how we're engaging with those tools. Great question here. This is where I start to get really excited. So, did you cover how to automate new sales lead records being added to the CRM at the start of the presentation? We'll touch on that now. So, but I'll hand over to James just very quickly. Something that I think is important to note is that, HubSpot is a fantastic tool, and out of the box, there are certain things that you then need to set up and get set up to a way in which you want it, how you want records communicating with each other within HubSpot, the relationship between individuals and contacts and brands, and businesses, and how all of that data kind of speaks and marries up within the system. So that's where an effective onboarding and all of that side of things comes into it, because there are so many different ways then to automate and pull in marketing leads, sales leads, and all of the associated information and data surrounding that. There's so many ways to automate that. But James, I'm going to hand over to you for a start out of 10 on how to automate new sales leads records being added to the CRM.
Yeah, so again, I touched with workflows, so I would say that is a big part of helping you with that. So if there's anything before you actually go ahead and set up your workflows, have a think about what it is in your current processes that may be a bit of a hindrance to you. So what is the challenges that you're facing? Identify those first, because that will give you a real idea of, when it comes to actually building your workflows, what it is you want to achieve with them. So there's loads of different trigger types, which I know I cover. But yeah, workflows are a big go-to for sure to aid with that. But Dan, you kind of covered it there. But there's all those standard automations that kind of covered today as well. So if you have a look in your settings and your current setup, there might be a few little elements in there that you might want to revisit, or just have a look and see, oh, that's how that's working. You know what? I think I mentioned it as an example, like when a contact comes into your system in the first place, what does it cut? What do you want to class that life cycle stage as? I think that's a big part. Moving those contacts through life cycle stages definitely supports with that.
Yeah. Thanks, James. Question here, which I love. Can we get rid of MailChimp and use HubSpot for similar looking email campaigns? MailChimp's great, right? But at the end of the day, if you're using Marketing Hub, you want a fully integrated marketing solution that speaks more with a CRM than just kind of good looking marketing emails, then, absolutely. I guess the only thing I'd throw into that is the difference between Sales Hub and Marketing Hub. So if you're using Sales Hub, that's more for kind of sales type emails, which are going to be very copy led. Whereas to get the full kind of design, simple drag and drop functionality and more marketing emails and marketing workflows, you obviously want to be using kind of Marketing Hub. But James, any thoughts on that? MailChimp versus HubSpot?
Well, obviously I'm going to be biased because I love HubSpot, but yeah, I think one thing I would say is, of course, moving everything into HubSpot is ideal, probably for efficiency and also getting the most out of your subscription. But throughout all of this, with these integrations, and I kind of touched on it today, but if there's anything that you do quite like using already, so let's say in this case MailChimp, there's no reason why you don't have to stop using MailChimp if that's what you and your team prefer. But it's definitely still worth integrating with HubSpot, because you can get those really handy reports. In addition, it just maximizes your subscription, getting the most out of it.
We've had a few brands recently who have come to us and they've started using HubSpot and they're already got quite established processes on MailChimp. And I think the feedback is often that if you're looking to just do that kind of, if the pure focus of your marketing effort is kind of those maybe monthly emails to quite large or unsegmented databases with kind of information or newsletters or that kind of routine email marketing, then of course MailChimp can fit the brief potentially in that area. But if you're looking to do anything beyond that, if you're looking to start to do, a couple of workflows or even a bit of segmentation and any kind of automation, once you start to move into even touching on that, I'd say bring it all into HubSpot, 100%, So I think that yeah, it's there's no need to split yourself again across that tech stack. It's about how you consolidate all of that effort and keep it focused and efficient. Great question from Sarah Clancy. When running LinkedIn ads, can you bring in a list through a direct integration from HubSpot into a campaign as a matched contact list? So James, I think I'm understanding that correctly. Obviously, there's a lot that we can do in terms of how we're using HubSpot and then moving things through into LinkedIn. There's even ways to export and upload lists, right? So what are your thoughts in terms of how you would navigate that across the landscape from the CRM system and right the way through to LinkedIn?
Yeah, I think with that particular example, I would say the way I would go about it anyway is I would pull in export that list from LinkedIn directly, and then once you've got that list, it's really, really easy to import into HubSpot, and then you've got that list ready to go and use on whatever marketing campaign you want to go down and use it in your as workflow triggers. That's the way I would go about it.
And you can do it the other way as well, can't you?
You can do it the other way.
Yeah.
You can do it the other way, yeah. So it's totally seamless.
Yeah. Fair. Any final questions or anything that people would like to know before we wrap up? No?
Could I just ask that question? Sorry, I asked that question about the LinkedIn integration, if you don't mind, just for clarity. So in terms of, I suppose my thinking is for retargeting campaigns. If we've got a prospect,
say again, sorry. Sorry, can you
Is
say
it-
that
is-
one more time? The thinking was.
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me properly?
Yes, there's just some background noise, but you're coming through.
Is there?
Yeah.
That's okay. That's fine. It was. I suppose my question was about if we've got a contact prospecting list in HubSpot and we want to kind of seamlessly bring that into LinkedIn ads as a matched contact list for me to retarget. Is that direct integration already there, or do I need to download it from HubSpot and upload it as a contact list? I suppose that was my question.
You can sync the two, so you can fully sync the two, but that needs to be a manual action. So you can sync the two platforms, and that is a possibility. So did you say you have a prospect list within HubSpot?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like a prospecting list of warmer leads that I'd quite like to bring into a retargeting campaign in LinkedIn as a matched audience.
Yes. So you can do that. So you can absolutely sync the two, but you would need to do some manual activity in order to do that. The simpler short-term way would be to just export a segment and upload it as a list. But you can also sync it with Sales Navigator. So I don't know if you're just doing ads or if you're using Sales Navigator, but you can integrate the two so that they speak to each other completely. We work a lot with brands as well. And there's so many ways it goes cross-platform, because where it starts to get really powerful is if you're then, an example might be that you run a retargeting campaign, as you just mentioned, with a full integration, and then you're doing lead gen ads on LinkedIn where you're re-engaging people, or even driving them through. If you want to nurture them, you're then driving them through to a piece of HubSpot content, like a landing page for a white paper or a blog or a piece of video content. Drive that engagement, that feeds back into your HubSpot. Then you get lead scoring, then you segment that. There's so many ways that you can build a journey, but you can absolutely sync the two. And do it that way around. Yeah, it's just that there needs to be some manual activity around that. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
I was just going to add to that and say,
that's all right.
Sorry, I was just going to add to that with the syncing. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time for HubSpot and LinkedIn just to sync up with each other. So you might not see if you're thinking, oh, that's not quite right, or it's not quite pulling through straight away. Just give it a day or so. But usually, most of the time, it's a couple of hours.
Yeah,
and good to go.
The only other thing I'd say on that is I'm not sure what kind of databases you're working with or how much you've utilized it in that way, but it's all about obviously marrying up data and marrying up kind of email addresses and contact information. And often, you know, you might work off a percentage estimation, so that if you have, I don't know, 1,000 contacts, you might estimate that X% will be able to effectively sync. And it depends whether you're doing it based on, you know, website traffic information or email data as to how you're remarketing people. So I would just think about, I guess, the size of the database and what the potential is then on LinkedIn in order to make sure that that the numbers kind of add up. But that's a whole other thing, really, I guess, about the, about the volumes. There was another question as well, just surrounding blogs, and I'll just make sure we touched on that about with the content creation and blogs. Is that subject to hosting the website through HubSpot? So it's not, is it, James? Because you could have a subdomain, or you could just have a housed blog set. Or there's different ways you can approach it, right?
Yeah. Loads of different ways. Doesn't even have to be. I mean, if you really wanted to, and just create it from scratch in Copilot, it's that intelligent and it's that powerful. So yeah, there's loads of different ways. Oh, you're on mute, Dan.
Sorry, classic. So listen, thank you all so much for your time today. I hope you found the session beneficial. As I mentioned earlier on, we do these webinars completely free of charge, and it's no pressure, and it's all about content sharing. But if you would like to drop us a review, I've just re-put the link in the chat, especially on the HubSpot ecosystem. It really goes a long way. If you do have any further questions, or you'd like to find out anything more, please don't hesitate to respond by email, drop us a line on LinkedIn. If you'd like to take advantage of Spot Check, don't hesitate to get in touch. Or if you want any support with sorting out your sales and marketing activity on HubSpot, we will be there for you. So in the meantime, have a fantastic rest of the day. Shout if you need anything, but otherwise have a good rest of the week and a good weekend as well. Thank you very much. All the very best. Bye-bye. Bye, folks. Cheers, James.